Welcome to Talks. My name is Eddie Marmolejo. Along with my co-host Jaime Moreno, we created this conservative podcast to bring facts to the issues America faces today. Left-wing bashing? That's too easy, and that's not what we do. Instead, Jaime and I tackle the issues, analyze them, and give our opinions through a conservative perspective. So if you want to join two conservative Latinos on this journey, sit back, crank up the volume, and let's talk. Welcome everybody to a weekly podcast of Talk. We are your hosts, Eddie Marmolejo
and Jaime Moreno.
This week we're going to talk about two events. We're going to talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez at the National Action Network Conference, her comments that have fueled certain responses by a lot of people. And then we're going to take a 180 on that by taking a look how Candance Owens reacted to certain comments made against her in Congress this last Tuesday. With that, Jaime?
Please don't forget to like us, subscribe, share our channel. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook, as well as our YouTube channel. Please let your family and friends know that we're here and we're providing some good news for them. So let's start with Ocasio-Cortez. So apparently, from what I know, she was at the National Action Network Conference.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Invited by
Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton, which is a predominant leader in the black community, political activist, and he has his own new TV show, right? Or news show.
I don't know.
CNN.
I question him, but yeah, sure.
He lost a lot of weight, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing that I can...
So, Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez was
don't forget, along with several 2020 candidates.
Oh, yeah.
Like Kamala Harris, and
right.
Kamala Harris, I believe, was there. O'Rourke was there, if I'm not mistaken. Booker was there. That's basically, right. Anybody who has a stake in getting the African-American vote was there.
So pretty much the top forerunners were there.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there, but they all spoke, they all gave their comments, but we're focusing on
just Ocasio-Cortez.
Ocasio-Cortez, given her recent fame, not even her fame, just her recent comments and her suggestions on what is proper and good and non-elitist public policies, right?
Right.
So Eddie, what did she do or say there that brought our attention?
So before, I want to make this clear before I go. The comments that she not made for me were not racist. They were more condescending to the public, or from my view, to a certain group. Because I'm pretty sure you've seen the video. I will post the video
we'll post it below. So we'll actually put the link below on our post. For you guys can follow it.
She basically goes out there and comes out and speaks with an accent.
What?
An accent.
Like a southern accent?
Like a southern accent.
A northern accent. What kind of accent? A southern accent?
An accent that she views is used by the people she was speaking to, which happened to be black.
She's trying to sound black.
She's trying to sound black. Yeah, thank you for putting it bluntly.
She's trying to sound black.
She's trying to sound black.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious. So she goes up there, and I'm gonna do my little skit interpretation on that, right? So
please.
I have to, because this goes to the point that I'm gonna try to make in a minute. So she goes out there and she's like, okay, ready? Okay.
I'll do the physical. What she did, right?
So she's out there and she's like, "There's nothing wrong in working retail and folding people's clothes. There's nothing wrong with cooking other people's food. There ain't nothing wrong." I honestly thought I was going to church. And even in the video clip, you hear in one of the videos, you're like this guy going like, "Oh no," because she was literally speaking like she was a black person. I'm like, "What are you doing? You're Puerto Rican, for crying out loud!"
For real.
I know.
She's not even black Puerto Rican. So
she's Puerto Rican. Period. Okay. So she's going out there, and I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, this is not the first time I've seen this coming from a Democrat. You also saw this from...
we're not surprised by that. Because
Joe Biden, who said, we're going to put the chains back on Wall Street.
Yeah, we're going to put the chains back on Wall Street.
And then you had... Hillary Clinton said, Eric Holder, Cory Booker, they all look the same.
Yeah, that's right. That one interview, right? And I'm glad the host of that interview with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, she said,
no,
they don't. And I'm like...
Yeah, she literally went on and she said, Eric Holder, Cory Booker, they both look the same.
They both look the same.
No, and if you don't know a description of them, if you don't remember, Eric Holder was a former Attorney General
Yeah.
under the Obama administration, he is dark, with dark complexion, with hair. And then you look at Senator Cory Booker, he is a lighter complexion with no hair. So it's pretty distinguishable between men. And she said they both look the same.
Right.
And other people say that's a simple mistake. But if you were to say that for Asians or Latinos or anybody that all look the same, it would be considered racist.
Right.
So her comment of saying they both look the same, these two individuals look the same, is kind of racist. Yeah. So go back to Ocasio.
So Ocasio, right, and Ocasio. So my thing with this whole situation, why it bothered me, and actually it was made pretty much fun of later on anyway, is the way that she spoke. Like, why do you have to go and pretend to be black to portray your message? If your message is about social justice, equal pay, people getting better jobs, and so forth, why do you have to appeal to a certain group in a certain way? Why not just be yourself?
Yeah, it's kind of like if your idea and your idea is attractive to everybody, well, you don't need to speak the same way as your audience, right?
I mean, there's a difference between appealing to your audience. You're appealing to your audience. Just appeal to your audience.
You don't have to sound like them.
You don't have to sound like them. Yeah. Or if it's predominantly one majority of a single group, don't try to. I mean, what I'm trying to say is, don't try to imitate where you're at. I mean, you're just there to speak at a conference. Just speak at the conference, Use
your normal voice.
I mean, I was watching the Hodge twins. The Hodge twins, right?
Who are the Hodge twins?
The Hodge twins are, of course, they're twins. They're black twins.
Okay.
Predominantly conservative, right?
I know what you're talking about. Okay.
And they had a skit yesterday, and it said, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You got massive, what, to try to go out there and speak like a black person. And they basically said what I just said. If you believe in your message so strongly, why do you have to go out there and sound black? Why do you have to go out there and try to sell it as a black person? Why just try to sell it as a congresswoman, as a politician who really believes in what you're advocating for? But this has been a problem with Democrats and the left and forever, that they've used certain groups in a certain way, and the best way to appeal to them is to be them, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I understand. You're mocking them. Yeah. You're not really.
Like in this case, you're generalizing to the thing that they all talk like that.
Yeah,
because I know a lot of black people that don't talk like that.
Yeah, don't have okay. All right.
They don't got that Cardi B.
That accent where it shows, what we would consider in our subculture, in our cultural
hip
norm,
urban, whatever.
Urban, right? Urban language, or I don't want to go far back as what they used to call it in the 80s, because that's just straight out racist. But urban, inner city slang, right?
Yeah.
So and Eddie's right. I mean, she went out there. She had an accent. She sounded black. She made herself sound black. Okay, I mean, and there's one YouTuber who made this comment, right?
Yeah, you showed me that.
This YouTuber, I'm trying to get his name.
We'll put the link on
We'll put the link on what he posts. He's African American himself. He's a black American. And he himself noticed the accent, right? And he himself noticed that you don't need to sound black to try to give the message to black. It's kind of like being not patronizing. It's kind of like patronizing.
I just think it's condescending to the people you're trying to speak to. You shouldn't have to do that.
You're mocking them.
You're mocking them.
And it could be because she followed up after Al Sharpton.
It could be. She could follow up Obama, for crying out loud. It's not the point. The point is why do Democrats and people on the left always have to imitate different bases in certain ways? If you're gonna, what is next? She's gonna go talk to Mexicans here in SoCal, and she's gonna be eating tacos with a sombrero and a corona. I mean, I don't know.
She just have to have an accent like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Hey, órale, vato.
Órale, vato. Hey, you know what I mean?
Vato locos.
With a heavy accent,
Yeah.
Like,
It's like you and I go to an all-white conference, right? And they say in Mississippi, "Hey, y'all, how you doing down here? You remember them glory days?"
It ain't a shame to be a bus driver. It ain't no shame to be a waitress. It ain't a shame to work at the diner. It ain't a shame to work at the kitchen. It ain't a shame. Sounding like Mater from Toy Story,
Or go to Georgia, but I'm Brian Camp. So, you see,
yeah, you don't need to change your accent to get the message out.
If you, I'm just a firm believer that if you believe in a certain message, and you're a firm believer that you need to advocate this message, people will buy it for you being you. Mm-hmm. Did you see Donald Trump like speaking to black caucuses? And she'll be like, "Hey, what's up?" Or stuff like that. Hey, like, you didn't see that.
Talking
you didn't see that.
Cat Williams.
Like, "Hey, player."
Or Lavelle Johnson. Yeah. Or Lavelle Crawford. Sorry.
Yeah, you didn't.
Or imitate Obama, or imitate Eric Holder, or imitate Al Sharpton.
Yeah, you didn't see that from the president. He sat him down. He said, "Talk to me about black issues. We'll handle it." Like how do we handle it? How do we work together?
Yes, that's right. And like Eddie just mentioned and has been mentioning is that the Democratic Party does things like that. And they slip up with comments like that. Mm-hmm. And they slip up with imitation like that. Mm-hmm. And they get away with it. It's not considered racist. I think Andrea Ocasio-Cortez justifying her accent at the beginning of her speech as being because she's a girl from the Bronx.
What does that have to do with anything?
But hold on, what does that do with anything? I agree. But then again, you never used that accent even when you ran for Congress. Mm-hmm. You didn't use that accent as a congresswoman. Mm-hmm. You haven't used that accent anywhere. But all of a sudden, you go a room full of African Americans and blacks, and all of a sudden you have this Bronx quote unquote accent that sounds a lot like African American accent. Or we don't want to be here and say that blacks have a certain accent either, right?
That's
we
not
don't
what
want to say that.
They're saying that
we want to say that the accent that she used would be socially in our social norms and social culture identify as urban and more specifically black accent, right? We're not saying that that's the accent all black people have because we don't believe in that. You have accents based on your region and blah blah blah. But what we are saying is that if black individuals and celebrities on YouTube or black commentators, social commentators on YouTube and in the media can recognize that as being a black accent, then we have a problem with Ocasio-Cortez trying to act black during that conference, right?
Yeah. Just for me, it's like you didn't have to do that. Go out there, give your message. If people buy it, they'll vote for you. If they don't buy it, you know what happens. You're voted out. Next person comes in.
And not even that. She's not even being accused of being racist.
No. Because you can't accuse it. You can't accuse it of being racist because she wasn't being racist. Let's be fair to her. She was just being condescending to.
But isn't that kind of similar though? Like, even if trying to be black, even in the 90s when we had these bunch of movies that came out with white boy. What was that movie? What was it? Southside. What's his name?
Don't Be a Menace. Or
Not Don't Be a
White
Menace.
Man Can't Jump. Or
White Man Can't Jump. Or there's another movie too. There's a white boy who tries to be like hardcore black.
Oh, are you talking about Malibu's Most Wanted?
Malibu Most Wanted. Yeah, like Malibu Most Wanted.
I never seen it. I just remember the Slim Shady type of look.
Yeah, he was a white boy trying to act black, talking black, behaving black. You know, like he's from this ghettos of L.A., Compton, Inglewood, South Central, where he's from Malibu, right? And that was controversial back then as being pandering to racist and condescending and stereotypical of black people and black culture. Why isn't Ocasio's accent imitation being considered in that same light? Because if it would have been a conservative or it would have been someone in the right making that accent, then that would be, you're doing what I just said. You're being racist or you're being stereotypical.
Oh, no, automatic. If you're conservative, it would have been racist.
Yeah, it would have been racist straight off the bat. And we discussed this last week.
Yeah.
Right? The different treatments.
The double standard.
The double standards, thank you.
So this segment is more like a follow-up to our last week's talk about double standards. So this is what I'm saying. Had I or any other conservative...
Had Ocasio been a Republican.
Had Ocasio been a Republican going to a black conference, because it's predominantly black, with Al Sharpton, it would have been a firestorm by now. It would still be a firestorm. They'll be calling for impeachment and so forth and so on.
Racist.
She's racist. Even though she's Puerto Rican, she ain't white. The problem with that scenario is that she's a Republican and a conservative.
Yeah, just political affiliation.
Just by mere, like I said, political affiliation, Alexandria Cortez would have been dubbed as a racist and
insincere and
so
inconsiderate.
Yeah.
she's being stereotypical,
Yes.
pejorative, sorry, against black people. But since she's a Democrat and she's famous because of her Green New Deal,
Right.
that she gets away with it. What do you guys think?
What do you guys think? So I'm like I said, I don't think she's being racist. I just think she's playing to the crowd. That's what this is about. I don't think that's necessary.
Can that be so moving forward? Can we do stuff like that, playing with the crowd? Can we behave in a certain way to capture that crowd? Is that a good?
Are you asking me as a political tactic, or are you asking me just as just
social norm? And
social norm?
No. If you can get away with it politically, you should be. It's like marketing, right?
Well, there's things.
People will buy.
There's things when politics, and there was this joke that back in the 70s when you had certain candidates trying to appeal to the Latino community, they would bring nachos and all that stuff because they didn't know how to appeal. Or wear some. They just don't know how to appeal. You always in politics, you're trying to make people feel comfortable. So if you had a Republican, let's say I was running for office, I'm a Republican, right? And I say I'm going to East LA for crying out loud, and I'm having an event in a taqueria. All right? Just having an event in a taqueria. I'm trying to make people feel comfortable with me. So you're always trying to make that
relate to your audience.
You just relate to my audience. But I'm not going to show up there with a freaking alligator boots, tight jeans, right? Mainly because they won't look good on me. But I'm not going to wear that. A freaking alligator.
A sombrero.
A silk shirt, right? A silk button-up shirt with a freaking belt buckle from Los Tres Hermanos, right?
Ooh, they have good leather, though.
Yeah. By the way, a lot of these stores are owned by...
So you just describing.
So, but I was saying I wouldn't shop like that.
What do we call them in Mexico?
What?
Would you just describe vaquero? Not even a vaquero.
No, you just call them what do they call them, man?
There's a term. It's in my head.
Ranchero? No, ranchero.
Anyways, we'll get to that. But he just gave a description. Like if you go to Mexican nightclubs, people who like to listen to banda.
Yeah, dress up like in a banda outfit. I'm not gonna dress up in a banda outfit. If anything, just dress up in my nice polo, or a nice button-up shirt with slacks, and be like, hey, let's talk. Let's have some tacos. Let's have a beer. Let's talk. What's going on? What do you think are the issues? That would be something I would relate. Or
true.
Or and not only that, I would invite everybody. I know I'm in East LA, but anybody can come in and talk to me here. This event is open to the public, right? Stuff like that.
So there's a limit, and how do you reach out to your audience?
Yeah, they have to be. Yeah, they have to be a relationship. Try to make if you're Latino and you're trying to relate that you're a Latino, then fine. Have a night like that. We have tacos and you have because you're a Latino. This is part of your heritage, right? That's part of your culture. That's fine. If you're an Irish, then you can have I don't know an Irish event. Luck of the Irish, whatever you want to call it. Do your thing. But it's you being you. It's not me pretending to be somebody else.
Okay.
It's not like that at all. And that's what you saw with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She pretended to be somebody else because she has a certain mentality of a certain group of people. Well, in this case, it happened to be black. And she said, well, hey, y'all, and ain't nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
All you needed was the pipe organs playing in the back, and, it would have been all said. I'm here to testify. Stuff like that. And...
Hey, man. That's my phone vibrating. Sorry, guys. Kidding.
But stuff like that.
I go to Pentecostal church, and we kind of preach the same as black churches. So.
Well, that's you, man. I get the land incantations, Stuff like that.
Sorry.
But
going back to Ocasio-Cortez.
So my thing is that was totally unnecessary. That was really bad, to be honest, and basically everybody's mocking her for it, and rightly so. She didn't have to do that. And
there's a phrase that one of the YouTube bloggers, one of the YouTube influencers said that the gentleman that I quoted earlier today, that she probably just did monkey see, monkey do. And
that's the quote, right?
That's the quote. And I was just like, we can justify her by that.
But
he himself believes that was totally wrong from her. Right? Yeah. She should have never.
And I agree. It's not.
And we agree with that too.
And like I said, it's not because it's wrong. For me, it's not because it was racist. It's just because you're imitating something you're not, and that was totally unnecessary to appeal to a certain. Yeah, that's the thing. So
I'm trying to make it stereotypical.
Yeah, it's a stereotype. So if she does that to that, what is she gonna do to her Puerto Rican? She's gonna be dancing salsa and then doing bachata, or I don't know.
She's Puerto Rican.
She is Puerto Rican.
She can do that.
She can do that. Well, that's what I'm saying, dude. But she's gonna play to the crowd each time. Like, just be you.
That's true.
Just be you. If these Democrats have to learn to appeal to your message, just be you. And it's something that honestly, I did not see in the last election. I mean, Trump just was out there.
He was himself.
He was himself, and he didn't care. You were going to vote for me regardless, and that's the difference. That's the difference, and that's what I liked. If your message is so strong, it will be heard.
And it will appeal to everybody that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that concludes our segment for
that's basically those were my thoughts on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Let us know what you think.
Okay. God, she was so annoying. I saw that. I was like,
ain't nothing wrong with there.
I mean, we agree. There's nothing wrong with being a working class American, who does those jobs. We agree as well.
Let us know what you think. Do you think Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was racist or she was being condescending? What are your thoughts on that? Because honestly, comment below, please, because I'll put the link for the video if you're not seeing it when she's speaking at the Al Sharpton conference.
And we also want to make clear that if she had been Republican, automatically racism. But she's a Democrat, left, extreme left, right? It's okay. We'll apologize. By the media, it's kind of like, we understand.
Yeah, she's just trying to be friendly, and now I'm like, okay.
She's the little girl. Yeah. She's learning. Yeah. No.
So
we ain't buying it. Not here on MM Talk.
No, I don't buy it, and I believe. I don't think.
So in contrast, like you said earlier.
In contrast, so
Candance Owens.
Candance Owens, right? Candance Owens. I mean, I'm loving this chick, man. This chick, excuse me. This lady, this woman. I mean, she's
yes, please.
Hashtag correction. So Candance Owens.
Can you give a little description of Candance Owens?
Yeah, so Candance Owens is a public figure. She's a public figure. She's a political influencer. She's trying to promote conservative ideology and campuses, mainly through Turning Point USA. That's her biggest forum. She also works for Prager University. Prager University, if you guys don't know, does little 5-minute videos on issues that will talk about how the left has been wrong on a certain issue. And so they put these videos up. So she's well known. She is also basically known for starting Blexit. Mm-hmm. Blexit.
She's credited for that.
Yeah, she's credited for that which is black people leaving the Democratic Party, African Americans, blacks leaving the Democratic Party. That's all her. So she basically partnered with Turning Point USA, and then through Turning Point USA, she's been advocating for basically just conservatism in general. So she went before Congress, right? She went before Congress. She was going to talk about racism in America. What's fueling it.
So let me help you with the background on that. Okay. So pretty much the House Judiciary Committee.
Thank you.
Is trying to do a crackdown on white nationalists and their influence on social media and on America in whole. Okay. Now, we have to remember, many months ago, we talked about white nationalists or these racist groups. Mm-hmm. And we told you guys that the number of white nationalists, racist, is small. It's a small group of people compared to the overall population of the United States. Yes. The United States is about 300 million people. It's probably more than that. We'll see the results after the 2020 census. But the last census were 300 million people. Mm-hmm. And the number of don't even hit double digits.
Right.
The number of racist white nationalist statistics is a low number. But obviously, with Charlottesville, there's a large number of them. So it looks like a large group, and especially camera angles and filmmaking, gives you that interpretation that's, masses and masses of people. Mm-hmm. But it's actually a small number of people, right? So we'll make that clear now. Now, that small number of people are being given credit or being given credit that they're spreading their message and influencing the entire American public, right? So here on MM Talk, we don't really think they have that much of an impact. Do they use social media? Do they use all these means of communication? Yeah, they do. Yeah. They do use those medias. And do they have a following? Yes, they do have a following. But if you look at the following, it's really small percentage compared to the overall population of the United States.
Yeah,
so Congress is trying to say pretty much these Democrat-led committee is saying that these white nationalists are influencing all of Americans and increasing racism, and we're going in a downward spiral because everyone, even you and I, even you who are viewing us, you who are listening to us, are being influenced by these white nationalists, and all of a sudden we're becoming racist. So they're going a little on extreme in their investigation, but I'm glad that they're bringing it up. And we're glad they're bringing it up because we're now discussing that not all conservatives are racist. And that's something that our viewers want you to know is that being conservative and Republican does not make you
or automatic racist
or a white nationalist. So Eddie will continue with the conversation on that.
So it goes back to the segment we had on nationalism where I said that nationalism in its original form, or what it's meant to do, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a positive thing, and it should be viewed as a positive thing because it defines who you are as an individual in part of a community, right? It defines who you are in the community. It defines who you are. And for us, for you and I, we're American. We're America for Americans and so forth. That's what we always advocated. That's what we stand for. So what happened in this particular hearing, in the first question, I forget the Congress's name. First question, no joke. One of the first questions. Excuse me, Candance Owens, do you hate people with black skin color? This was one of the primary questions that was asked by this congressman. Candance Owens is black.
Yeah.
So this congressman, first question,
he was white, wasn't he?
And he was white.
Yeah.
Asked Candance Owens, "Do you hate people of black skin color?" And
that's funny. That's hilarious.
So Candance Owens was black. Answers back. She says that no, I don't. In fact, I love black people. In fact, I will follow. And this is me cliff noting what she actually quoted or said. But she's like, "We'll follow the sword 1,000 times to help stopping the lies given to us by the left and the Democrats who have basically left us in the positions where we are today." Where we say that institutional racism is no longer the number one threat for the black community. In fact, it is the social welfare programs and single mothers who have been basically have no dads and there's no father figures in the black community.
The disintegration of
disintegration of the family.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Larry Elder, who also happens to be black, said that the welfare state has incentivized black women to marry the government.
That's right.
These are two black people. Okay, I'm not quoting anybody else. I'm quoting black people when it comes to certain issues.
And they're conservative.
And they're conservative, both of them. Prominent conservatives, Larry Elder, you have seen him many times on Fox News. You will no longer see him on CNN because he's basically destroyed everybody on CNN.
Yeah. He's bringing too much truth to CNN, and CNN can't handle that much truth. Honestly.
So Candance Owens says this, right? And then the hearing goes on and on. And then we reached Representative Ted Lieu from California.
Oh my God.
Ted Lieu, Representative Ted Lieu.
Remember, California is the most tolerant state, right?
We're the most blue state.
The bluest of the blue states.
So Representative Ted Lieu goes on and says,
"We're so blue, we're suffocating."
Yeah. Well, right.
Not literally, literally, but we're suffocating in terms of taxes, cost of living,
gas.
Thank
you all for did not vote on 6 last November. Thank you. $4 a gallon.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyways, so Ted Lieu comes out and says, "Look, a Democrat. Out of all the people the Republicans consent, they sent Candance Owens. What in the heck does that even mean? I have no idea."
Well, he said that because actually Candance Owens works for Turning Points, right?
Right.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
And she's a director of communications for that organization. They were invited by the judiciary. I mean, you don't go to Congress in a hearing just because you feel like it.
You're invited. Yeah.
You're invited. You're specifically invited by Congress.
Okay. Yeah. So. No, but from my thing is like, so what does that mean? Like they should have said somebody else. Like it should have been a white guy.
That's even a dumb question to begin with.
I get it.
You invited her.
Yeah, no.
Why are you saying the Republicans sent her?
But I guess he's mad because it was a black conservative. I mean, like a black conservative. So and then he said like,
and I think in the undertone with that, you know, given the theme of our topic is the undertone is that Republicans are racist.
Yes.
That's just the assumption that Republicans are racist.
Yeah.
What?
So she proceeds, right? And he proceeds he's like, well, I don't know Candance Owens pretty well, but and I'm not gonna judge her, but I'll let her talking of a certain subject give you an impression of who she is. Mm-hmm. And Ted Lieu provides to the hearing with a clip of her at an event of Turning Point UK. Or Turning Point UK, same organization, just Turning Point UK, conservative values in the United Kingdom. Mm-hmm. Where somebody had asked her, do you believe nationalism is a good thing? And she flat out, with no hesitation, said yes. I believe nationalism is a good thing. Hello? Is this thing working? Okay. Nationalism is a good thing. Something we at MM Talk said last year. Nationalism is a good thing. And what did we also say about nationalism? It was tarnished based on the events of the 20th century due to the Nazis. Something that she brought up in this discussion. She said why nationalism gets a bad rep is because of the events, the Holocaust and the Nazis and so forth.
So the thing is that because the Nazi is literally nationalist, socialist workers party of Germany. Mm-hmm. That's the translation because it has the word nationalist in there.
Yeah,
we in America during the 20th century have been taught to believe that nationalism equals fascist or nationalism equals Hitler
or racist,
and racism. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why in America we went from nationalism to patriotism to dissociate the term nationalism that was ruined by Hitler.
Yeah, ruined.
Pretty much.
So this is what I said.
The real definition is pretty much patriotism. It's national pride.
It's national pride. Yeah,
country,
that's why.
right?
That's always said that they're like cousins. You know, they're like really brothers or
they're brothers. Pretty much. They're that close. They're just different terminology.
Different terminologies. Yeah. So she said it's a good thing, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing we have it. And what you saw with Hitler, right, was basically race-based nationalism, as I like to see it, where that it was nationalism only for the Aryan people. The Aryan people are what's going to make the state. As to American nationalism, whereas no, it's actually America is based, nationalism is based on what you believe and the principles set forth by the Declaration of Independence, and those principles protected by the U.S. Constitution. Those are the roots of an American, and that's what America for Americans is about. So, of course, I'm giving you a more expanded explanation as to what she said in about 90 seconds. But this is what the argument she was trying to say. And she said, well, look, I don't have a problem if Hitler wanted to make Germany great or Germany for Germans. I have no problem with that. The problem that she had with Hitler is that he was a globalist. I would say he's more of a universalist, right? Because he's trying to make everybody fall under the same. I mean, you know. I used the philosophical term. She used a more pragmatic political term. That's the difference, okay?
That's true.
you know. So I would say he was a more universalist, and that's basically where Nazism, right, was expanded. But
that's where it expanded.
But
he wanted the whole world to be.
There's other things that you could consider as to why the Nazis in general had to expand. That's because of the ideologies of socialism, which I will not get into. Anyways. The thing is, she said, I wouldn't have had a problem if Hitler wanted to make Germany great for Germans. But since he was a globalist, and I'm using her term, I would say since he was a universalist, expanding that is what we're having an issue with. And that's not what nationalists do. Nationalists just are for their people alone. And I argued with you guys that I wouldn't call Hitler a nationalist too, because of what he did. And he promoted racial supremacy over other races. That's no longer nationalism. That's just racial supremacy. Mm-hmm. That's what that is. So Ted Lieu, right? Back to Representative Lieu. He basically showed this clip to try to say that Candance Owens was a Hitler defender, who she was defendant of Hitler, and also she did get, when I was researching this. She did get criticism for making this statement in social media. There were Twitters made like, "Why is she defending Hitler?" And she had to she had to explain herself, saying, "No, what I'm saying is that if Hitler wanted to make Germany great for Germans, the actions he took do not provide the value of what he was trying to do. So going all racial, going on imperial mode, that's not nationalism." So he says that, and then goes to everybody else that was there. Who else was there? Facebook, and I don't know who else was there.
Yeah, some people from Facebook were there. Some, actually, the policy director or something like that from Facebook that watches all these things and contents. Make sure that we don't get misinformed and no hate is being disseminated.
So he goes to everybody else. Does not allow Candance Owens to respond to this. By the way, goes to everybody else. Right, and the question is, do you think comments like these are a concern for what we're trying to talk about here today? And everyone's like, oh yeah, this is very concerning. This is actually what we're here to talk about, blah, 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 blah. Everybody, and then somehow one representative yields time, goes back to Candance Owens, and Candance Owens is livid. Rightfully so. Again, because she says, well... You lied. Basically, she said, I don't appreciate you trying to make me look something that I'm not. I don't appreciate you taking a fraction.
She lied. Sorry, she said
in layman's terms.
She said, that's not what I said.
That's not what I said. And then she says the following. You took an excerpt of my clip to portray something that I'm not. What here, Talk, have we said before? When you look at clips from videos, go a couple minutes before, a couple minutes after, so you get the full picture. You did not get the full picture with here. Representative Liu deliberately avoided the question, right, that was asked, right, that was asked by this person, and used only that particular clip to make his point. And she says, like, and what did she say? I guess the gentleman, the honorable gentleman here thinks black people are stupid, and I'm not gonna go look up for the entire clip. And then the chairman was like, Chairman Nadler was like, the witness will not refer to a member of this committee as stupid, and it's like, that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
He didn't hear that.
Yeah, he's like, that's
not man was talking out. He's like, wait, what? You're stupid. No.
No, he's like, that's not what I said. If you would have listened to me, I said that he thinks black people will be stupid enough to not go back and look at the entire clip to see what actually had happened.
Yeah, the chairman tried to silence Owens by saying, don't call a congressman stupid.
Right.
But Owens, if you look at the video, never called the congressman stupid. He says, you must think black people are stupid.
Yeah.
Because you only showed this portion.
Right.
Right? Because you think that by showing this portion that Candance Owens automatically is a racist. Right? And the chairman, Mr. Nadler, went and said, don't call congressperson stupid. And she's like, no, I didn't. I called him stupid. Yes, you did. She's like, no, I didn't.
No, it's not what I said. You didn't listen. So
and he was like, whatever. And then we have the video, like, really old man, sorry, but I'm going to be discriminating to an old man. You're old, sir. You're either falling asleep, not paying attention, or distracted for you to have missed that. And then go ahead and argue, yeah, you called her stupid. And the video comes out, and he never called the congressman stupid. So you yourself, sir, and because I'm not before a hearing, are stupid.
Yeah.
And you're old. You need to retire. All congressmen above the age of 50 need to retire. Sorry. That's just my...
But anyway...
That's a whole different thing.
She basically makes these claims and basically defending herself, right? And attacking Representative Liu for deliberately trying to lie in a committee. He pulls up his phone. Let me see your phone. Mm-hmm. He's like, he pulls up the phone, and the video of Candance Owens is playing right there, right? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, nationalism, blah, 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 blah. And she says, well, what do you guys think about it? Why wouldn't you be mad? Why wouldn't you be mad about that? Why? And then we go to the media later on that night, and it's like, why did they say Candance Owens in the first place? She's a firecracker. What in the bleeping bleep does that even mean again? So here's the problem. You had a conservative black woman telling you that nationalism is a good thing, telling you that the left has lied to black people for years, telling you that welfare and the lack of fathers in the black community is the number one problem in the black community, and not institutional racism that's being portrayed by the left. Everything she said goes against the grain of what mainstream media is portraying black people or black issues.
And what the Democrats' agenda.
Yeah. The Democrats' agenda, yes. So that's the agenda, that minorities have to follow the Democratic agenda. And if you're not a minority, then you're going to have these kinds of responses, or you're going to be viewed in a certain way or try to be portrayed in a certain way.
Yeah, it's pretty much, in order to be a true minority, a true minority, you have to believe, accept, and spread the Democratic Party's platform and agenda.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're no longer a true minority.
It's like,
and it's evident by the gentleman.
Yeah.
I don't know where he was from. I'm trying to look it up. That's why you see me distracted. The congressman who accused her of being racist.
Oh, the guy who. So back, what Jaime's talking about, so that question that I posted.
He's like, do you
hate people of black skin color? First of all, that is the most asinine question you could ask a person of skin color. And I'm just saying because she's black. That's what I'm saying, because she is black. So basically, we're insinuating
she hates herself.
She hates herself, or she hates other. Yeah, she hates herself, and she hates other black people, and this is something that I know I might personally. So I have faced when me as a conservative Latino have said, well, I'm a conservative, I'm a Republican. I faced this for years. We faced this in high school, for crying out loud. Because, I mean, we were
Republicans.
Because we identified ourselves as Republicans, we identified ourselves as conservatives. We were thought as sellouts, coconuts, Tío Juan's, Uncle Tom's. Coconuts. Like, you're just a coconut. You're whitewashed and all that. Why am I whitewashed? Why? Because I identify myself as a Republican. The left talks about identity politics all the time. But since I choose the side that does not appeal to your identity, automatically I'm whitewashed. I betray my own community. I'm not a true minority, as Jaime keeps pointing out.
Yeah, because you don't follow that agenda. For example, if you're a Republican, you're automatically racist.
Right.
You're the most racist people. Right. Yes, there are some Republican politicians who are racist, and they should be removed from office, and they should not be running for office. And we do agree with that. There are Democrats who are racist, and they shouldn't be running for Congress, and they shouldn't be elected too. But you don't see a big scandal over Democrat elected officials who are racist. You'll see all the scandal and media panic over Republican. Right now, I just Googled Congressman who called
you got it?
Owens racist, and guess what related searches come up? Republican congressmen who are racist. Why don't they put here Democrat congressmen who are racist?
Basically
too?
said the common statement, the racist statement. Like,
because there are many Democratic congressmen. Remember, there's 400 and some odd Congress people.
Right.
And some of them are racist. And they are. And if you don't believe me, look at the history of the Democratic Party. They've been the most racist party ever since they formed under Andrew Jackson in the 1820s. Yeah. Okay? So what we're trying to say here is that you have Democrats in a chairman committee trying to make this black conservative woman look racist, look like she's a fascist, and try to tarnish her image as a fascist, racist, white supremacist, white nationalist advocate.
And she's black.
And to credit to Owens, she's like, I didn't say that. And she literally, in the committee, said, Hitler is the worst person on earth. He is the most...
Yeah. Hitler, what she said was like, you can't call Hitler nationalist because he was a genocidal maniac who killed his own people. And nationalists don't do that. Again, something we have said, that nationalism is not about race. There's no... nationalism itself, as to what it's meant to be, is not a threat. What is a threat is when you have white supremacists embodying themselves into an all-white nation, and that nationalist ideology, that's the threat. And also, and it's not...
call it for what is supremacy, white supremacy.
White supremacy, and don't think this is just from whites too. Another thing that people need to stop thinking is that when you see racial supremacy, it just does not come from whites. It also, you have seen various instances in other ethnic groups where they're preaching ethnic nationalism or ethnic nationalism and so forth. So you have to be from all perspectives. In America, we got to stop thinking like that. Nationalism or ethnic nationalism or
not even ethnic nationalism,
but racial nationalism. We had that here in America. We had that with Malcolm X. Malcolm X was preaching for an all-black separate nation. Okay. In his early years, right? In his early years with the Nation of Islam.
That's not what Nation of Islam is. Not what it is.
Nation of Islam. That's what I'm saying. But Nation of Islam is promoting black. All black nation separated from the white community. I'm not lying. That's what it was.
Look it up.
The new Black Panther Party, same thing. The KKK, same thing. There's different groups advocating for racial nationalism, which is not what nationalism in its form is meant to be.
That's right.
Nationalism in its purest form is meant to be America for Americans through what? For American nationalism, it has to be set through the laws and the principles set in the Declaration of Independence and protected by the Constitution of the United States. Mm-hmm. That is what Americans are rooted. And for Jaime and I, when we discuss this with certain people and we have discussions with certain people, those reactions that we saw in Congress yesterday towards Candance Owens is what we get. And honestly, it doesn't even bother us, but I know that's the kind of reaction we're going to get.
We expect it.
Okay, so when you called me a coke, and I was telling him, hey, bro, did you see this one? This is my favorite one. I'm no longer brown. I'm not brown because I'm advocating for conservative principles. I'm like, are you kidding me? What,
Lord.
And people will make, like, asinine comments like, dude, you're an Indian. Like, you're like, what? Like, you're not brown, you're not white. Stop talking like you're white. Like, no. What we're saying is, dude, I'm American first. We are American first. We are American first. We were born here. The laws of America is what allow roots is in our root. That's what's in our blood.
It applies to us.
It applies to us.
In America, we live in America.
Yes.
We eat and breathe in America. We have all these privileges and rights. We have the right to do this because we're in America. We're an American citizens. Yeah. We're not Mexican nationals. We're not Mexican citizens. We're American citizens.
Yeah, so by birthright, right? Exactly. So when people talk to me like, "Well, dude, you're Mexican." No, dude, I'm American.
That's ethnicity.
See,
we accept our ethnicity because the United States.
The irony, right? Uh-huh. The irony that those that are advocating to not be racist are looking at your race to make your claim. That makes no sense. So because I'm saying I'm American, no, you're not American because you're brown. Where in the Constitution does it say that in order to be an American you have to be white,
British or Anglo,
or British or of Anglo-Saxon descent? Where does it say that?
Nowhere.
Does it say that in the 14th Amendment?
Not even the 14th Amendment.
Oh, okay.
It just says that you're all born in the United States.
And remind me again, why was the 14th Amendment implemented in the first place? For who?
For slaves.
For crying out loud, people. In 2019, you cannot stop looking as race as the prominent factor when it comes to issues of political value. Racism, yes, is still alive in America, right? But what does Thomas Sowell say? It's being kept on life support by politicians and racial what is it called? Racial hustlers. Racial hustlers.
That's a word I haven't heard.
Yeah, racial hustlers. Okay? And that's what you're seeing today. And that's where I see the left, or people that are tied to the left, that by me saying, no, dude, it's because you understand the white man. The white man never kept me down, for crying out loud. Mm-hmm. I'm an educated man, for crying out, with a master's degree, right, and all that. You're an educated man with your bachelor's. Did you ever experience, right, the white man try to keep you down, or some of these other comments that people kept saying by the left? No, you put the effort. You go out there and you put the effort, right? And if you work hard, you can do things like we're trying to do here. We're trying to promote conservative values through a podcast, for crying out loud. It's easy. It's an easy thing to do, but we're talking about it. We had an idea. We made it. And now because that idea is in contradiction to what the mainstream media is, that's the kind of response we're getting. And we said, you know what? That's your opinion. You can keep it, but we're going to keep what we do. You want to identify yourself as just a Mexican? I tell you, no, you're not Mexican.
Yeah, we have that identity.
We have that
Americans are so complicated.
Yeah.
Because we are a nation of immigrants, right? We all know that. We all know that a lot of people come to the United States to form the United States, right? Through legal means of immigration process. Legal means.
Yeah, and that's another. Can we stop you?
We're not talking about illegal immigration. Yeah. Legal immigration is a whole different topic, which a lot of people from Japan, China, Europe, Canada came to the United States legally with permits, and they were accepted, registered. If you go to Ellis Island, you have name registries of every immigrant that has come to the United States through that island. They did it legally. They checked them, where they're from, name, welcome to the United States of America. They did it legally. Mm-hmm. We're not talking about illegal immigration, which is a whole different subject, and which is actually making our community, Latino and Hispanic communities, look bad.
Because the left has generalized the issue of immigration as has generalized immigration as to whether illegal or illegal. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make that distinction anymore. If you look at us conservatives, we say we have no problem with immigration. We have no problem with it. We have a problem with illegal immigration. The left is saying, well, you're just an immigrant. That's just that's a sub-label for what you're trying to do. No. There are differences.
That's right.
There are differences.
And like we were saying, like I was talking earlier, like, we were saying is that, yeah, we have ethnic backgrounds. We have Latino heritage, Asian American, we have European, African, we have Canadian, we have all those ethnic backgrounds. That's great. That makes American. Remember that song, The Great American Melting Pot, or was it Schoolhouse Rock?
Sure, dude.
The American Melting Pot. It's a big old melting pot. Or the description of the American melting pot. We're all different races, different ethnicities and race melted into the American experience, right? We all know that. We're all aware of it. Yes. But we all strive to be American. We all strive to be respected as Americans, to be viewed as Americans, to be treated as Americans, to be under the laws of America, to have the same rights as Americans. And there's a famous clip, a famous segment, which we'll add below, where the comedian Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias, when he was touring in Saudi Arabia, he was referred to as American. American. Okay? Saudi Arabia. They didn't call him the Mexican American, Latino American, Hispanic, Latino. They called him the American comedian. Mm-hmm. And Gabriel Iglesias himself, who is American national, who is of Mexican ethnicity, mom is Mexican national, right? He himself said, I was finally called an American. And he himself said, I am no longer the Latino comedian, the Mexican the comedian. I am now referred to as an American. And he felt proud to be recognized as an American. If he feels proud to be recognized as Americans, then we here in America should be proud to be referred to as an American. Right? We cannot be ashamed of being called American. Yes, we have a different ethnicity. Yes, we are the only country that we can say, I'm an American, but my ethnicity is this, or my heritage, or my background is this. If you go to any other country in the world, they're all the same. They're all Nigerians. They're all Mexican. They're all Guatemalan. They're all Chinese. They're all Indian. They're all whatever it is that they are in those countries. They have diversity, but not as much diversity as here in the United States, right? So when we say nationalism, or when we say we're proud to be American, we're not saying we're white supremacists or spreading the agenda of a small group of racists, right? We're spreading the news that, you know what, we are American. When we travel around the world, we present our American passport and we're proud to be American, right? But when we're inside the United States, I'm not American. I'm Mexican, fool. I'm black, fool. I'm Chinese, fool. I'm Korean, fool. Really? I mean, it's great to be proud of your heritage and your ethnicity. But at the end of the day, if you're born in America or you become an American citizen, you're an American.
Unless you have dual citizenship, that's another argument.
You're still American. You don't lose your American citizenship.
So that's what I mean when I talk to these people. Sometimes like, okay, so you're Mexican, so you renounce citizenship, you're gonna go back to Mexico and so forth. That is the most racist thing you said, bro. You're saying it, not me. You said you're Mexican, all right? And it's just so. People, let's go. The identity politics. You want to talk about identity politics? Identify myself as an American and identify myself as a conservative. And I'm sorry that does not apply to what you are. It should be in according to your eyes and to what the left is saying. That no, you're a Mexican. You're part of a minority. You should be proud of that. And I'm saying no. First, I'm an American, and that's about it. That's where I'll leave it. And that's what you saw with Candance Owens, who was asked for crying out loud. Do you hate black people because you're part of a conservative movement? What, really? That's literally that translation of that question.
I don't know how to describe that. I don't know.
So we go from Democrats acting as something they're not to asking a female conservative of a certain race if she hates her own race for being conservative. Tell me where the racism is really in all of this that we talked to you about today.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
In the congressman who asked the question.
No. in his party. In their party. In his party. It's evident. It's been evident since this year alone for oh man.
For crying out loud.
For crying out loud. This year alone, there's been more racism coming out of the Democratic Party than any time I've been involved in politics since 2006, whatever. We've actually gone into it. The Democratic Party, for crying out loud, in this year alone, has had anti-Semites. Okay, people who refuse to call 9/11 hijackers terrorists, Ilhan Omar. Mm-hmm. People pretend to be black, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and who are trying to race bait a black woman to hate her own kind by saying that she hates her own kind, but because she's a conservative.
Who also believe that blacks aren't smart enough to get NID. Yeah. Blacks who aren't smart enough to be able to live off welfare. Who aren't smart enough to have their own business. Who aren't smart enough to live free. Latinos, they pander with Latinos as that they're not well equipped to be able to live independently, to have their own business, to come here legally into the United States, who aren't able to apply for a legal access to the United States, you know? So it's not so much that they say, oh, we're racist and we hate Mexicans or minorities. It's the way they treat minorities as if they were children,
yes,
uneducated, yes, unable to fend for themselves, yes, think for themselves, mm-hmm, and, you know, have their own independent ideas and opinions, right? That minorities, like we said earlier, true minorities have to depend on Democrats. If you don't depend on Democrats, don't vote Democrats, or don't believe in Democrat, mm-hmm, policies, then you're not a true minority. And you see it not only on the news media, you see it on a lot of late night shows, and comedians would say that, you know, because they're on with that same agenda or the same ideology, that in order to be a true minority, you have to believe and accept and advocate for the Democrat platform and agenda.
Yeah.
If you're outside of that, you're racist, you're not a true minority, you're whitewashed, like we just mentioned earlier.
Yeah. And example, if you guys saw that video of the Mexican immigrant who's now a Trump supporter, who got basically verbally attacked by this other lady who was at a postal annex. She said she's the most Mexican Trump supporter there is, and is proud of it. Mm-hmm. But if Donald Trump's racist, why would a Mexican support Donald Trump?
Oh, because he's racist.
Oh, because he's racist.
Yeah, the Mexican is racist to Mexican.
Too?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mexican is racist against his own people.
That's the world we live in, folks. Where if you're
that's not the world we live in. That's the propaganda the Democrats and the left are putting out there through all means and media, and we're eating it like
pan dulce.
Thank you.
Like bolillo at Candance. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to Candance. But anyways, that's going to wrap up the show this week, guys. Leave your comments below. Do you agree with us? Do you agree with what we said, that nationalism for one is a good thing? And do you believe that the treatment of Candance Owens was unfair? And do you believe or agree or disagree when we say that what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did was wrong? Tell us what you think. I mean, we really want to hear those opinions out there. That's how we have this discussion. We give you our opinions, we give you our analysis, but we want to have the discussion. We want to talk. So, with that being said, we are your hosts, Eddie Marmolejo
and Jaime Moreno.
This is MM Talk, and always remember, we're tired of it too. Jaime and I would like to thank you all for tuning into our podcast this week. If this is your first time tuning into MM Talk, and you like the show, we invite you to come back every Thursday. Just hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you're notified when our videos are up. Also, do not forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for any additional notifications. This is MM Talk, and remember, we're tired of it too.